So thank you for all for coming into this press conference and giving us the opportunity to share the business value of Windows 8 with you. We're very excited to be here. We have been talking to enterprise customers and businesses over the last months around Windows 8, and we have gotten great feedback, and it's really for us like an opportunity to share that. To start, Windows 8 is delivering great value to business customers, as it delivers an experience without any compromises. Windows 8 is an experience that people will love. People that work with it will enjoy and love and get a lot of value out of it, personally and also business-wise. But at the same time, it delivers the enterprise-grade capabilities that IT organizations require. Windows 8 is Windows reimagined, from the chipset to the user interface. It's built on everything that is great about Windows 7, but delivering customers and our businesses a new modern platform for the next generation of hardware, experiences and devices. With Windows 8, your PC experience will be fast and fluid, effortless, and will build on the great fundamentals of Windows 7, like security, reliability, and also performance. What is very important for our business customers is that Windows 8 will also work side by side with our current Windows 7 infrastructure. And if we have that conversation and customers ask us like, what can Windows 8 do for me? Imagine a tablet without compromises. Windows 8 tablets will have the mobility and the convenience of a tablet, but the productivity and the power of a PC. It comes with a new Metro-style UI, which is touch first, but also great with mouse and keyboard. It runs the apps that our enterprises care about, like their Windows 7 apps, their line of business apps, but also new Metro-style apps. And it has the features that IT organizations require around security and also manageability. Or imagine a new opportunities here in mobile productivity and the ability for enterprises to put your secure corporate PC on a USB drive and give it to your employees that can carry it with them wherever they go, whatever their PC they want to use for their personal environment, their personal Windows 8 environment. Or imagine an operating system that introduces a new level of security that protects the user from the moment it boots their device, their PC or their tablet, and helps them stay secure wherever they go, whatever they do. Those are some of the scenarios that we have talked about with enterprise customers and more. And what I'd like to do now is, the next 40 minutes, is show some of those capabilities through technology demos to you. So let me start with the UI. And when I resume this tablet, this Windows 8 tablet, the first thing you will notice is that it's a very personalized and reimagined experience. It's personalized because this is a picture of my family, but also what is important in this is that this is the lock screen, that before I unlock the device or I start any applications, I can see in the left bottom corner the information that is important for me, my appointments, my email and all the messages. So before I unlock the device, I know what is important and things that I need to take care of. Unlocking the tablet is just as easy as swiping with my finger. And now there's a reimagined log-on screen. Windows 8 will support traditional passwords, but at the same time, for mobile scenarios, picture passwords. And a picture password is optional. As an IT organization, you can disable it through policies, but it's a very cool and convenient way in mobile scenarios to log on to this device. And I turn touch points on so you can see what I'm doing. And to unlock this device, I have to connect the three noses of my kids, and then poke in the eye of the cheetah. And I'm in my start screen. And the start screen is the place in Windows 8 where you go to launch and find your apps. And what you will see is that the experience here is very fast and fluid. Like, it's easy for me to scroll left and right and get insight in all my apps. Apps for my business life, but also my personal apps. And you see that I have my favorite apps here, but also my favorite content and the people that I work with. All as close as to my finger here. The start screen in Windows 8 is not static, but it's alive and dynamic. you see that the tiles are alive and they are always up to date with the latest information that is important to me. I often don't even have to start the app to understand if there's something important that I need to take care of. And just like the rest of Windows 8, the start screen is fully customizable. I can change the background colors, I can change the apps that show up, I can also change the grouping of the apps and, and I can change the order of the groups. It's very easy for me to take up an app and move it to another place on the start screen, and I can zoom out and have an end-to-end view of all the apps that are important for me. And here I can take a group and just move it over to the other side. One of the things that I do in the morning when I start my workday is look at the latest news. And for that purpose, what I did here is I pinned the Bloomberg site on my start screen. And what you see, if I touch the tile, I automatically start IE10 and go to the Bloomberg website. IE10 is an example of a metro-style application. And metro-style applications are designed to be immersive, rich, and touch first. And what you see is that the operating system goes out of its way and has the application maximal attention for me and maximizes the interaction with the app. Scrolling through the site is very easy with my finger. And if I see an article that I like and I like to understand more about, I just touch it and I will automatically go there. I can also zoom in and you see that the text stays very crisp and sharp. And one of the favorite features for me of IE10 is that while I'm navigating through the site and browsing the articles, it's always easy for me to move forward and backwards because I can just swipe the page and go back to where I was there before. I started my experience here for IE10 with an app in my start screen, but it's not unthinkable now I'm here that I want to go to another website. And when I just touch the address bar, you see that my frequent sites show up, but also a soft keyboard that gives me the ability to type in another URL. One of the things that we discovered when we started to hand out tablets to our users is that certainly in mobile scenarios, a lot of people prefer to use their thumbs for typing. So in reimagining the experience, we made it very easy to move to a thumb-based layout here. And I can even, if you see I have pretty thick thumbs, for me it's ideal if I change to a large key layout here. But if I would give this tablet to my kids, they would probably prefer a small layout. IE10 is an example of a metro-style app. And I'd like to show you some other examples just to show you the richness of this experience. And it's easy for me now to go back to the start menu. And one of the things that I really like about Windows 8 is that wherever I am in my experience, wherever I'm doing, the operating system is never more than a swipe away. If I swipe in from my right-hand side, you see that the Windows 8 charms appear. And Windows 8 charms are key functions of the operating system, like search, share, and settings. And also the start menu. And I can easily now go back to the start menu, and you see that I'm back on my start screen. So another example of a metro-style app is Microsoft Dynamics. And Microsoft Dynamics is a business solution. And this is an example of the richness of a metro-style solution. Because you see that in this case, as a user of this app, I have really all the information that is important for me to do my work at my fingertips. I'd like to show you another app here. This is a Bing Finance app. It shows the latest information on the financial markets. And it shows the richness of the experience here on the financial information. Because I'm traveling, I like to take track of the currencies, like how much euros is a dollar, or vice versa, I should say, how much dollars is a euro. And I can also start a weather app. I love to see what the weather is doing. And you see it's 45 degrees out there. Be assured, this is Fahrenheit. It's not a great summer day here in Hanover. It's still winter. So now I have started a bunch of different Metro apps. And it's very easy for me now to navigate between them and move from app to app. I can just swipe them from the right-hand side, and you see I go through my apps pretty easily. We wanted to make this navigation even more easy for users by giving them the opportunity, by just swiping in and back forwards, to see the latest 6 Metro apps on the left-hand side of the screen. And I can easily now go to the Bing Finance site, and you see how easy and fast and fluid those transitions are made. In my introduction, I talked about Windows 8 having no compromises for enterprise customers. And clearly one of the things that is very important for us is that, and we are aware that a lot of customers have made significant investments in Windows 7. So for us it's important to show that their investment in Windows 7 applications are carrying forward into Windows 8. And to show you that, I will just start the desktop here. And you will see this very familiar UI, user interface. The desktop in Windows 8 is the place where I can use my Windows 7 apps, but also going forward apps that just need the finer control and the granularity of a mouse and keyboard. So imagine that I'm a mobile professional and I just spent most of my day with my customers, and at the end of the day I'm going to my home office or my business office, and now I can take my tablet that I've been using mobile and just put it in a docking station, and now I have full mouse and keyboard support on the same device. So I can start this Excel spreadsheet, or I can start, here I have Word, I have it pinned on my taskbar, and it's very easy for me, and I'm using the mouse now, just to be sure that you see that, to start those applications. And one of my favorite features of Windows 7 is also supported here, the snapping of 2 applications side by side. So in reimagining the Windows experience, we wanted to go a step further here. Now I am working onto Windows 7 apps, but as a business user, there's maybe this one important Metro style app that is very important for me that I want to keep track of. So I now can swipe in and dock the Bing Financial app, and you see that it's automatically updated with the latest information, so I can keep track on all the financial data. Again, Metro Apps is the innovation around Metro Apps for us is very exciting, and we think that Metro Apps will be an opportunity for developers, ISVs, but also for enterprise customers in building new innovative experiences for their employees, but also for their customers. Additional to carry forward the investment in Windows 7 apps. So I wanted to show you shortly how the Windows 8 experience is from a tablet perspective, and I'd like to hand over to Brad, who will show it on a laptop.
Thank you, Erwin. So Erwin just showed you how Windows 8 can be a great no-compromise business tablet that combines the benefits of touch, but also the ability to use mouse and keyboard for those high-precision tasks. What I want to show you now is how Windows 8 is great for existing non-touch devices. Windows 8 has the same hardware requirements as Windows 7. So for this demo, I'm actually going to use this device right here. It's a great sleek machine that you can go out, you can buy in the store today, and I've got the Windows 8 Consumer Preview here loaded on it. So you'll notice as I come out of sleep, I start at the same lock screen, the same personalized lock screen that Erwin started at. And here we see my daughter, some information about how I'm doing. So I'll go ahead, I'll just press enter since I'm using a mouse and keyboard. So we're optimized for that experience. When I do that, you'll see I scroll up. Erwin showed you picture password, one of my favorite ways to log in. But since I have a mouse and keyboard, those gestures he did very fluently, it's probably faster and more fluid for me to simply type my password and press enter. So with Windows 8, I can choose. I don't have to make any compromises here. And you'll see as I come in, here I have my desktop, my start screen, and I can move this with the mouse. I could grab the scroll bar down the bottom. If I want, I could use the scroll wheel on my mouse, or I could even take and just bump the sides of the screen to move side by side. If my hands are on the keyboard and I'm typing, I can use the arrow keys to move around through here. I can even do page up, page down to move through very quickly. As Erwin showed you, if I want to zoom out, all I need to do is come down here to the lower right. You see this magnifying glass I click on. Immediately I zoom out. I can rearrange the groups here. I can choose to right-click on a group and actually name that group. So I've got all of that functionality. Now let's say I want to move a tile from one place to another. I simply grab it, click, and I can drag it around. Now if I want to move it from one end to the other, I can do this in one fast and fluid gesture. If I grab it, touch the bottom, and come right back to the top. So you can see how quickly I can do those. That's a great way to move things around. It works equally well with the mouse, or with the touch as well. So let's launch a couple of these apps. So I'll launch the finance app. Now, if I want to use my charms with my mouse, one thing that I can do is I can go to the upper right or the lower right corner. And you'll notice if I do that, the charms come up. I can come down and click on Start. Now if I launch my weather app, the weather app comes up. And if I want to launch my charms with my keyboard, I can do that with a keyboard shortcut. So I can just do Windows C and press Enter. So I have a lot of different options based on the style that I want to use and how I want to interact with my device. Now if I want to launch one of those desktop applications, you'll see I can have them right here on my start screen. I'll simply click on Word, and we can bring Word up. Or if I want, I could launch things with keyboard shortcuts. I can have great organization on my start screen, but sometimes search is faster than browse. So what I'm going to do to show you how quick this is, I'll simply hit the Windows key, type a few letters of Excel, and press Enter. So you'll see how quickly I can launch Microsoft Excel with just search and with some keyboard shortcuts. Now from here, if I want as well, I can also bring up the same list that you saw with Erwin. I can also bring these out and dock them as well if I wish to. So let's go ahead and close these guys here, because I want to show you some things with Task Manager. So we started a bunch of applications, and you'll notice my finance app, my weather app are taking up no CPU. Since they're taken and they're suspended out, they're not using any CPU, therefore I'm not draining any of my battery. Now, if I want to though, sometimes I still have a need and a desire to close these apps. I can do that very easy. I can grab it at the top, throw it down to the bottom, and I've closed the application. So you've seen some of the great ways that I can work with Windows 8 with a mouse and keyboard just as well as I can work with touch. So I encourage you all to go out, download the consumer preview, load it on a device, and give it a try. Thank you, Erwin.
Thank you, Brad. I'd like to move on now and show you some exciting scenario for mobile productivity. By the way, before I go there, there's some seats here still empty, Olivia. I'm not sure if we want to move people. If people want to sit, there's at least two positions. Yeah, two seats are empty on this side. Yeah. So in my introduction comments, I talked about the opportunity to package your corporate desktop on a USB drive and carry it with you wherever you go. So this feature within Windows 8 is called Windows to Go, and I'd like to show to you how that works. So what I have here is a Windows 7 laptop, an Ultrabook that you can buy today. It's commercially available. To show Windows to Go, what I have to do first is put a USB drive in the PC and reboot the system. And what will happen here is that by rebooting, the internal hard drive will go offline in the device, and the system will only use the USB drive as their primary hard drive. And it's of course important that the internal hard drive goes offline, because what you want to avoid is any data leakage between the USB drive and the hard drive, or vice versa. So I'm now asked for a BitLocker password. You probably are aware with BitLocker as being the security and data encryption technology of Windows 7. We're carrying that technology forward in Windows 8 with some enhancements and, for example, support of e-drives. And certainly for BitLocker to Go scenario, this is very important because, and remember, this thing is now my corporate desktop with all my apps and data. So you want to make sure that if you use this, that if it gets lost or stolen, that nobody can make a use of it. And now I have rebooted the device based on my USB drive, and you see that I'm running Windows 8 on the device. And it's the same image we just demonstrated to you on the tablet. In this case, the system knows that this is not a touch-based device, so it asks me for a password instead of a picture password. And I can log in, and you see that the start screen appears. So now I have all my apps, as a business user, all my data available for me on a device that was originally a Windows 7 PC. Windows 2 Go doesn't only work on Windows 7, but also on Windows XP PCs, Windows Vista PCs, and in the future Windows 8. So just to show you the opportunities here, let me demonstrate it with a video. I will start an HD video here, and it shows the performance of the scenario. Because what you will see is that it's running now from my USB drive, but it doesn't show any glitches, and it runs very smooth. One of the most often asked questions when I show customers Windows 2 Go is, what happens if by accident the USB drive gets removed from the PC? Like this. And what you will see is that the video stops. Yes, it stops. It was buffered. I was thinking what happens here. Like it stops. And it gives me 60 seconds to put it back on. If I do it if it goes beyond the 60 seconds, the system will go offline. But what you will see is if I put it back in, the video runs smoothly from the moment that I took it out. The video is buffered, but will start in any second. The system will go offline, of course, after 60 seconds, and that's a security requirement. Because the scenario that you want to avoid is that one employee or an enterprise customer pulls the USB out from a shared PC and leaves any footprint of that secure corporate PC on that drive. When we talk about customers around Windows 2 Go, and I might have pulled out the USB on this device now, but we'll see in a second. When I talk with customers about the opportunities of Windows 2 Go, there's a series of different applicable scenarios. And one is, of course, ultra-mobile scenarios, that you can give an employee your secure corporate PC in the form of a USB drive, and if he's traveling, he can use multiple devices, multiple PCs to work from there. Other scenarios is that enabling contractors, giving them a contractor that needs secure access, this Windows 2 Go, enabling people to work from home from their own devices, or give people the opportunity to bring their personal device into the enterprise. And a couple of weeks ago, I talked to a big accounting firm, and they thought this could be a great scenario for people that work remote. And if their PC would get lost or broken or is damaged, they would always have this backup scenario to make sure that they are productive. So Windows 2 Go is an exciting scenario, and if you think about it, it will help, and it will give organizations opportunities for mobile productivity. We showed you Windows 8 as an opportunity for employees and business workers in organizations. And from the UI, how it can work with the tablet, how it can work with the laptop, but also exciting new mobile productivity scenarios. What we like to do is move on now and show you some of the enterprise-grade capabilities of Windows 8. That enterprises give the other side of being a no-compromise platform. And we like to start here with security. Windows 7 Windows 7 is the most secure operating system in the market today. But we don't think that we should stop there. And this is something that is important for customers and something that we want to continue to invest in. So you will see that with Windows 8, we are making security investments on different areas. On the PC, on the connectivity from the PC or tablet to the network, and on the network itself. On the PC, you can think about technologies like BitLocker that we're enhanced, and I already talked about it. The boot process. With Trusted Boot, we are introducing a complete new boot process that makes it impossible for example, sector boot viruses and rootkit viruses to get between the operating system and the hardware. For connectivity, we are introducing virtual smart cards as a technology that makes it easier for customers to run multi-factor authentication within their organizations. And as an example of a technology to help customers improve their backend, we are now with Windows 8 Server and Windows 8, we are introducing dynamic access control. And dynamic access, what it does, is the opportunity for organizations to set other attributes on say, important data, on shared data, based on organizations, based on geographic locations, but also, for example, on the device that people are using to connect to shared resources. So to show you a little bit more of security, I'd like to ask Brett to show you how Trusted Boot works.
Thank you, Erwin. So I want to talk about two things that Erwin was just talking about, Secure Boot and Trusted Boot. So as Erwin said, Windows 7 is the most secure operating system out there. But security is an area that we always want to continue to push forward in. And one of the ways we reimagined the boot process with Windows 8 was to think about the entire sequence. So when we start up, we have a technology called Secure Boot. Secure Boot works with the UEFI BIOS, a modern replacement for the traditional BIOS that's in the PCs. And what happens is, let's give you a scenario. If you went out, you downloaded, say, a game, and you were unaware that when you installed that game, it actually installed malware on your machine. So the next time you reboot it, rather than loading Windows or whatever you've got on there, it loads a piece of malware, a malware-infected OS loader. And then that OS loader loads Windows. Well, when that happens, now Windows doesn't realize that it's been compromised. Well, with Secure Boot, we take and we validate that OS loader. So we only load signed OSs. And to show you this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this PC here that we'll switch over to. And I have it turned off right now. And I've inserted this USB into here. And what I have on here is an infected operating system. So if you put this into your PC and you tried to boot it, you get a skull and crossbones that would come up. Now, because I've got Secure Boot on here, what I'll do is I'll go ahead and I'll boot this machine up. And what will happen is when it comes up, you'll see it starting, but rather than loading, what I actually get is an error message. So in this case, it says Secure Boot violation, invalid signatures detected. If this error persists, seek technical assistance. So it hasn't loaded any of the operating system. And then what it would do is ask you to basically go talk to your IT and clean this machine. They could come in, clean this machine. In this case, I could pull this out and reboot this machine, and we'd be up and running. So we start there, we protect the OS loader, we make sure it's a signed, valid operating system that we load. But what about all of the critical files, the drivers and other critical Windows files? For that, that's where Trusted Boot comes in. So let's lay out a scenario. I got an email today from someone claiming to be a distant relative. I don't know if any of you have ever gotten those emails. Some strange person showed up, told me they were a distant relative, and had large sums of money for me to inherit from them. All I had to do was run an application they sent me. In this case, I've created one called Get Rich Quick. Now, Windows normally has a lot of things to protect me. I've gone ahead for this demo and disabled those, and we'll go ahead and we'll run this just so you can see what happens. So when I run this, rather than getting rich, I've now gotten richly infected on my machine. So I've taken and I've loaded my machine up here with a lot of different pieces of malware. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to restart this machine. So the machine will go down, it will reboot itself, and what we'll see is rather than coming up and loading Windows, you see that Windows actually has sensed that something is wrong. So we're preparing an automatic repair environment. So we're loading up a safe, secure area to take and boot this PC from because we know there's a problem with the operating system. Once we get that loaded, you'll see it will restart here, and now we're diagnosing the PC. So we're actually going through and we're looking at all of those different critical files to see what's happened, making a list, figuring out what's going on here. And once we've built that list, you'll see it switches over to attempting repairs. So now we're getting those files from a secure location, we're putting them back so that we know that it's in a known, good, healthy state. You'll see it reboots here, and we'll load Windows. So now Windows detected the problem, brought itself up in a safe state, repaired itself, and now we'll just come in, and you can see that I can log back into this machine, and everything is up and working just as I would suspect. Thank you.
Yeah. So we like to move on to the next scenario, and that is also focused on the IT side, and that is virtualization. And virtualization is clearly important for customers as it gives access to users and also helps them to scale their resources. And we have been in Windows 8, in a combination with Windows 8 Server, we have been focused on helping our organization, our enterprise organizations, to improve the scalability of the backend, easier to deploy virtualization solutions, but also to improve the end user experience of virtualization. So we like to show you some of those technologies and scenarios now from an end user perspective.
Okay, again, are we? So I've gone over to this machine here. You can see similar desktop to what we've been looking at. It's got a blue background, quite a few tiles here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to launch the remote desktop Metro app, and I'm going to connect to a machine. So I've got my local touch-based machine, and now I'm connected to my session in the data center. This could be my data center running back in the United States, but you'll notice I've connected, and you can see that this is a different environment. So my background is green. You'll notice a lot of different tiles out here. But some of the things you'll notice are that I can take and touch this device and scroll through. So even though I'm connected up to the data center, to the server, which doesn't know anything about touch, I'm able to take and remote all of my touching from here and send it out to that device and get it back. So what we're able to do is bring that desktop-like experience to users in a VDI session. Now, you see it's very fast, it's very fluid. I'm actually going to come in and show you some things with touch. And to do that, we're going to play a little bit of a game here. So I don't know if you've seen this. This game is called Cut the Rope. And what I do is I slice my finger across some of the ropes, and the little piece of candy here falls down, and I'm trying to feed my friend the monster. Now the reason I like to show this is, think about what's happening here. I'm touching this device. My touch is getting remoted, sent out to my server, processed on the server, and the video comes back. If this isn't fast and fluid, then as I try to do this and cut those ropes, I'm not going to get the responsiveness that I want in this game. It's very fast, pans around, I've got complete control. I can even have a little fun and take aim at my projector and fire off a few rounds. This is very useful if you're working in a VDI session and your cube mate next door is making some calls. You can kind of lob a little artillery over. So it's kind of a fun little example here, but you can kind of expand on this and think about things like plugging in, as I was saying, for making a call. Lots of different USB devices that you can now bring. So as you saw, whether it's touch, whether it's video, whether it's USB redirection, it's all about bringing that desktop-like experience to your virtual desktops. Thank you very much.
So thank you, Brad. So what we try to do here in the last half an hour is not give you a complete end-to-end overview of all the business value and scenarios of Windows 8 for enterprises, but give you a good taste. But the Windows 8 for enterprises is a no-compromise experience. It delivers the value and the new experiences that people will love. At the same time, the enterprise creates solutions that IT organizations will require. Today we focused on the scenarios and also in our demonstrations on Windows 8, on x86 tablets and on x86 PCs. As we have demonstrated over the last year, is that Windows will also be available for ARM-based PCs and ARM-based tablets. These ARM-based tablets and ARM-based PCs will offer an additional choice for businesses and customers to give to their employees or use for business usage. As you probably are aware, last week we had an exciting milestone for Windows 8. We announced the availability of the consumer preview, our beta milestone, available for download in Barcelona. And we were very happy also to see the immediate response on this availability. The developer preview of Windows 8 had 3 million downloads, or exceeded 3 million downloads. The consumer preview, the Windows 8 consumer preview, exceeded 1 million downloads in the first 24 hours. So again, we were very excited to share this with you today, and I think we're ready now, Olivia, to take a few questions. Is that correct?
Yep, we've got a few.